In tourism, we talk a lot about growth and increasing the number of visitors and so forth. But obviously, we've got to kind of get that balance right, haven't we? Of attracting tourists and economic development, but also protecting the environment. And when you think about that challenge, how are you sort of getting that balance right? How are you preserving that sort of unique cultural heritage of the country alongside economic growth?
Mm-hmm. Well, we need to keep that at the forefront when we're making decisions about the kinds of developments that we're moving ahead with. And it's a challenge because, of course, there are many different priorities, and we have to be true to which is where the plan comes in. Our development plan really does speak to that kind of thing. So we can say, if it doesn't align, we can say that these types of developments aren't the types of developments that work with the path that we're looking toward. So it isn't easy all the time to ensure that the growth path is in keeping with these priorities, but that is where the plan comes in. So we know that those are the areas that we want to focus on.
And tell us a little bit about what some of those developments and initiatives are.
Well, we have cruise tourism and we have overnight tourism. So we look at things like carrying capacities, for example. We have maximum capacities for our sites. If you're looking at our archaeological sites, there are several Mayan sites within Belize. We do studies and we work along with the Institute of Archaeology to ensure that we don't have over-tourism or more than the maximum amount of people. We have a cap on the number of travelers that we have coming in on cruise, for example. And we're looking at some of the opportunities with smaller boutique lines as well, overnight cruises. They're looking for unique opportunities as well. So being able to match what we truly are and what our authentic product offering is with the demand of the new traveler, I think is really where the opportunities lie.
And we're already operating in a very competitive market. Tourism is everywhere. What would you say are the real unique sort of points of difference of Belize? Obviously you're biased, but I'd love to get your perspective.
Well, I think one of the things that I mentioned to you before, being a small country and having the cultural and natural assets that we do in such a small space. So you can actually arrive into Belize and be on the, one of our coral sand islands at the barrier reef in the morning, and then by the evening you could be in a nature reserve or in a cave or a waterfall inland. So you have so many different worlds in such a small location, and it's easily accessible. We're a couple hours from most destinations. So the U.S. is really our main market right now, but it's of interest for us to diversify into new markets. And I think what we offer is of interest to the world, really. People want to come, they want to experience these natural environments, they want to connect, they want experiences. It's not just about sitting on the beach anymore. They want to come away from the destination, having experienced something new, and having found new friends. We have a high repeat visitor percentage because people come to Belize. Many of them, I actually just saw a couple. They came to Belize and they left without having intended to buy property. So they said, they came to Belize and they said, we absolutely love it here. We're buying property before we leave. So there's a lot of very interesting connections that people make that are surprising to them. They come without that intention or that expectation, but they end up finding friends. They end up finding new experiences that really resonate. So I think the friendliness of the Belizean people and the vibe, the authenticity that Belize is really what sets us apart.
And you've used the word connect and connections and connectivity a little bit in this conversation. Obviously, as you said, great in terms of location and what you have in terms of, but how do you see that kind of connectivity strategy kind of evolving over time? How do we get more people to come and experience Belize?
Well, it's right now, I think that we have to put that infrastructure in place. Yeah. We have the natural assets, we have the cultural assets, but we have to make sure that the right people and the decision makers are able to understand and see the value, and obviously bringing the private sector to the table so that we can make those connections from a business perspective. We do need additional airlift. We do need to work on things. We're building a training institute, so raising quality standards, and you're just bridging gaps in general, because there are gaps in infrastructure development. We recognize those, and we are working toward those things. But I think for the most part we're on the right path.
And obviously this time next year we'll be hopefully sitting down and just reviewing the year. The inaugural awards would have been completed. Give me a picture of kind of what that world looks like in a year's time.
Well, it really does take us to another level to be able to host the World Sustainable Travel and Hospitality Awards. As I mentioned earlier, this is important for the world and for the industry, and tourism really does have the opportunity to lead the way and to make those linkages. So for Belize to host that is very, it's proud for it. It's a source of pride for us to be able to showcase Belize and to welcome, all of the businesses and in tourism from around the world. And we really do look forward to showcasing what Belize has to offer next year.
Nicole, thank you for sitting down with us today.